Will one of you finally give me what I desire? Yes, we will.
What's going on, guys? RBG here, bringing you another video on Marvel Spider-Man 2. We are less than 3 years away from getting this game, and the more we wait, the more rumors and speculations continue to brew in the community. And we usually tend to wave off certain things unless they're 100% confirmed by the developers, right? But there are some instances where those said rumors catch your ear and you can't help but take them seriously, especially the rumors we're going to talk about today. Now, before we dive into today's topic, I ask that you guys give this video a thumbs up. Yeah, I know it's a little out of the norm for me to ask you to do that, but YouTube's algorithm sort of encourages it. So if you rock with your boy and you know I'm going to bring you that awesome content, then smash that like button. And if by any chance you make it to the end of the video and it wasn't satisfactory, you're more than welcome to take that like back and give it a dislike. But yeah, guys, as I was saying, it seems like we may have gotten some leaked rumors pertaining to some of the features we'll see in Marvel Spider-Man 2. And usually with things like this, it has to be very convincing for me to want to cover it, because most of the time these alleged leaks are made by unknown people who say they know someone from the studio, or in this case, an anonymous person who claims to be a part of the development team. Pretty much anyone can claim this, but I felt like the things mentioned in this supposed leak were at least interesting enough to open a little dialogue. I mean, we won't get an official confirmation about this until the actual devs validate these rumors, so we're gonna just entertain some of these details and take them with a very small grain of salt. But anyways, these alleged leaks come via Reddit, where an alleged Insomniac employee who claims to be working on the traversal mechanics posted details from a throwaway account. The post has since been deleted by the moderators of the Spider-Man PS4 page, but thankfully the good people over at CBR were able to get this info shortly before it was blacklisted, and the comment section was still active, so this anonymous user was able to answer a few questions pertaining to other facets of the game. Now, as you know, Marvel Spider-Man 2 will feature multiple Spider-Man, which has a lot of us wondering who else will be playable besides Peter Parker. Even though we've seen the likes of Miles Morales fight alongside the OG Spider-Man in his own game, we weren't able to play with both. And when asked if there would be an option where we could switch between the two, the poster said, and I quote, "There's one main story that both Miles and Peter are experiencing. Most missions allow you to choose either Miles, Peter, or tag team, where one will largely remain in stealth or fight enemies far from you while you play. There's a whole team of engineers working on just AI for this reason." So as you hear, Insomniac is allegedly looking to give players the option to play missions as either Peter Parker or Miles Morales, each one having unique skills and abilities. Whoever the player doesn't choose will be controlled by an AI and provide support during missions. This, in my opinion, is a good way of doing things because it'll give us more incentive to go back and replay missions with the characters we didn't select the first time around. And I'm guessing when you're playing in a tag team, they'll more than likely incorporate the team finisher system from the Arkham Knight game. If I recall, that's what they did when you played alongside the Black Cat in the City That Never Sleeps DLC. The only thing this Reddit user didn't flat out confirm is if you can switch between the characters on the fly. If they are going to implement the team finishers from Arkham Knight, I feel like they should go ahead and lift the dual play features as well, where after you perform the finisher, it switches to the other character, and if you want to switch back to the primary character, you have to perform another finisher. Like, this game has to nail the team dynamic between Peter and Miles, man. It's got to feel like a payoff since we've seen the two training together over the past 2 entries. But moving on, the anonymous user provides details regarding the wall crawling and traversal, which they claim they're working on. Apparently, Peter's web trick system has been improved to play more like Miles's in Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, while the wall crawling system has been revamped, allowing for smoother transitions between characters without hindering the player's pace. The speed cap for the game has been greatly improved, meaning players can swing from 1.7 to 1.8 times faster than the original Spider-Man PlayStation 4 game. Now, one of the biggest complaints fans have had pertaining to the web swinging from the first game was how slow the web swinging felt. Even though Insomniac took creative liberties to implement things such as the dive mechanic and the ability to launch from certain platforms to boost your momentum, the web swinging speed still paled in comparison to the likes of Spider-Man 2 the movie game, which allowed you to move faster by simply pressing the left trigger button. And to be fair, this limitation was most likely due to the PS4's inability to load up certain locations and textures before you get to them, which is usually the case for for most open sandbox games nowadays. I know a lot of you are probably going to argue that it shouldn't be a problem since Spider-Man 2 the movie game did it with such ease, but it's important to keep in mind that that game wasn't necessarily pushing the PS2 to its limits. Most of the time when you would swing at lightning speeds, textures from buildings would disappear along with cars and civilians, so it wasn't like Treyarch was trying to go for a visually stunning title. But Insomniac was the total opposite with Marvel Spider-Man. The city is highly detailed and congested with cars and civilians, and the devs simply couldn't make that kind of compromise like other studios did in the old console days. If they were to make Spidey swing super fast on the PS4, then you would see most of the textures and pedestrians disappear since the game is trying to load all of those details, or the game would simply crash. So Insomniac couldn't afford to make those compromises, man. If they did, they receive a lot of backlash about how poorly the game performs. But this time around, things are possibly going to be a bit different since Marvel Spider-Man 2 will be taking full advantage of the PlayStation 5's SSD technology, allowing Insomniac to render the levels quicker. And if this is true, it'll more than likely explain why the game won't be available on the PlayStation 4. Sorry guys. Now, in regards to the wall crawling, the user mentioned that it's much faster and transitions into other actions more smoothly without killing the pace. You can also initiate a downward wall run out of it and do some minor combat moves and shoot webs and gadgets while doing it. And this sounds like they're going to be taking a page or two from Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Like anytime someone mentions the word wall and combat in the same sentence, you instantly think of Web of Shadows' insane wall crawling mechanics. But it seems like Insomniac is going for a more tame version since this game is going to be more realistic instead of the crazy wacky wall combat you see in Web of Shadows. If these rumors are true, a lot of fans are going to be happy because the wall crawling in Marvel Spider-Man was one of those things that was complained about. Like, it wasn't bad per se, but it did feel a little awkward in certain places. But moving on, the Reddit user answers one of the most asked questions, and that's if Peter will get the black symbiote suit and if it'll feature its own unique gameplay functions. And the user mentioned that Peter will in fact reportedly gain the iconic black suit in the first part of the game, using the symbiote's tendrils as 4 extra arms in combat. Rather than being an alien, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is pulling from the Ultimate Spider-Man comic books where Venom was created by Oscorp, something which is referenced in the post-credit scene in the first game. Following an unspecified story event, Peter separates himself from the suit, which takes a new host and becomes Venom. To combat this new villain, Peter develops the 4 robotic arms seen in the game's reveal trailer. And I'm guessing that the 4 mechanical arms will be more intuitive than they were with the Iron Spider suit mod, since we see Peter using it to launch himself higher in the air and perform combos. I know many of you were wondering how they'd be housed within the advanced suit. Like, this one person asked if there would be metal ducts on the back of the arms to come out, and the anonymous user answered that the arms would materialize via nanotech. He notes that the animations aren't done yet, which is why the transition was hid during the trailer. And I'm guessing that the nanotech Peter will be utilizing will be the programmable matter from Spider-Man Miles Morales, and he'll control them with the neural interface he developed for Dr. Octopus's arms. But we'll just have to wait and see. In regards to the black suit gameplay, someone asked if it'll have other abilities besides the tendrils, and to that the Reddit user answered that there won't really be any changes to the gameplay compared to the advanced suit, but it will however feel very different animation wise. And I think what they mean is that the animations are going to look more aggressive in terms of melee since it's the symbiote he's going to be wielding. But something that really got me hyped is when the user mentioned that not only will all the costumes from the previous games make a return, but apparently they'll all feature black versions. And if this is true, then I know the design team is going to have a field day. And it sort of makes sense that every suit has a symbiote variant, because if I'm going to be playing with something other than the advanced suit, which will obviously have its own version of a black suit, then when Peter uses the symbiote on a suit he's wearing at the time, then it'll also have to be completely covered in black. And that would be perfect attention to detail. I'm not expecting each suit to also feature their own symbiote-based attacks, but if they have a black version of every suit, that'll be enough for me, man. Like, you already know we're getting the Black Raimi Spidey suit, but just imagine what a black version of the Amazing Spider-Man suit would look like, or any of the MCU Spider-Man suits. The possibilities, bruh. But anyways, regarding the villains besides Kraven the Hunter and Venom, the user says that while they're unsure of the secondary villains, both Lizard and Mysterio appear in the game. As for heroes, no other Marvel hero will be included in the story, but the amount of Easter eggs alluding to a larger universe has significantly increased. Shout outs to my man Joseph Whitty for being the first to call the Insomniac Sony Marvel Universe. But yeah guys, as I mentioned, you should take these things with a very small grain of salt. While we wait to get a confirmation from Insomniac themselves, let me know what you think about all of these alleged leaks in the comments below. As always, I ask you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. Any feedback is good feedback and will only help me improve on future videos. But if you really enjoyed the video, it would help me out tremendously if you shared it with all your friends and followers on different social media outlets. Sharing really makes a difference. But once again, this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.